Okay, hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today. This is Will, and I have Emmy Kaplan on the phone. Emmy owns Emmy's Spaghetti Shack in San Francisco, and correct me if I'm wrong, Emmy, but I did a little research prior to this. You started it in 2001, and you were 24 years old and pregnant at the time. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
All right. Well, I got to ask them, so I read that you had worked in restaurants and your father was a restaurateur. What led you at that time, being pregnant and young as you were, to open Emmy's? What was the genesis of the whole thing?
Well, I didn't really know that I was pregnant when I was slated to start the restaurant. So that was one of the fun things that happened. But I had basically been working as a floor manager, front of the house, at kind of a high-end chef-driven restaurant in San Francisco called the Flying Saucer. It's no longer there. And it was just very suit and tie. We had to wear the white shirts and the ties and the long white aprons and just be very, everything had to be perfect and, open the wine the right way and the food had to be perfect. And I was just getting really kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
Of the fancy stuff and the fancy people. And it was just kind of, we wanted to open up something, or I wanted to open up something that was just for normal people. For people that were just in their 20s. I feel like San Francisco at that time, for eating out, that was kind of the only option that you had.
Sort of the nice, higher end places?
Yeah, just higher end. So, 1999, it was kind of the money started coming into the city, and it was just kind of older people only could afford to eat out. So all of the people that worked in restaurants, we were kind of stuck only going to kind of burger joints and places where we couldn't really get good food. It sounds kind of weird, but I just wanted to open something that was less pretentious and just for the normal people. So, I had this dream of, it would be just fun to have a spaghetti restaurant where we could just have like low-key pasta. We didn't have to dress up. We could wear whatever we wanted. We could play our kind of music and just kind of have some fun at the same time. And I really thought that would be a great idea. And I didn't have much to lose. I was just a, waitress floor manager, and there was a location open kind of in the Outer Mission, which is on the outskirts of the city at the time. It wasn't really a well-known area. And so I had the opportunity to open a place. So I just kind of scrambled some friends together. We put a menu together and just opened up by the seat of our pants. So it was just very like, okay, let's do it. Sure, there's an opportunity. Let's just try it out and see what happens. And I think being young and not having anything to worry about was kind of the key to my success there.
Well, it's nice when you don't have a lot of commitments or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How did you say you got some friends together and you created a menu? How did you fund it? What did you?
I had money saved. I had only maybe like, $5,000 or $6,000 saved, which was a lot for me at that time. And I had, perfect credit. So I just charged everything.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we just kind of built things ourselves, friends and family members, there were old tables there, so I just thought, okay, well, we'll just use everything that we have. We'll cover it with vinyl and use their old ramshackle booths. We didn't fix anything up. We just I decorated it like my bedroom, basically. Like we would decorate our house just with, old funny pictures, Mission Street art. And my friend who was from Italy had a great recipe for meatballs. And so we just kind of just did it. I hand drew all the menus, which I still do, just so we could change it. And we just made it really fun. So people just started to show up. And it was pretty cool.
Did you, were you there just all the time the first few years?
Yes. I mean, for the first, 3 or 4 years up there every day. I mean, except for when I had my child, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot. You had a lot going on then.
I did, yeah. And my partner at the time, or my son's dad at the time, was a bartender in fancy restaurants as well. So, we both quit our jobs and just kind of delved into creating something there.
Well, you mentioned things like you still hand draw the menus and stuff. I'm sure a lot has changed, but then a lot has stayed the same. It sounds like with your place. What's still the same today as when you started? Boy, 17 years ago, right? Congratulations, by the way. And I want to ask you about that because that's an impressive feat for any restaurant in any city, and for one in San Francisco even more so. Just with all the competition there now and everything else. So, what is the same about Emmy's today as when you opened?
The same. We have the same, general type of food, which is spaghetti and meatballs. That's what the customers come for. And as I became a mom, I was much more open to children. So lots of families came. I have the same customers, which is really awesome. So I have kids coming in that are my son's age. He's 16. So, I was pregnant with the moms. So it was a big influx of people moving into that neighborhood that were young families. So they're, most of them are still there. And, the art on the walls, the decor is still the same. We did have to move locations a couple of years ago. But from what, my customers say and from what I know, everything is pretty much the same feeling. I've obviously had to raise prices, every once in a while, just to compete, just to be able to pay my bills. But I try to keep everything affordable, and we keep the portions pretty big so everyone can share and try different things. And, the things that are the same would be, the meatballs are the same, the sauce is the same. I have a lot of the same staff. I have a couple of the same kitchen people, and a few floor staff have been there for about, 5-6 years. So the only thing that's different is the new location, probably more variety of menu. We've been able to add new things over the years. We have vegan meatballs now, or vegan balls. And, yeah, we just kind of change with the neighborhood.
Well, that's awesome that you've been able to keep staff that long too. That's another. I mean, that's very impressive. Have you had to? So I know I read somewhere that you had raised prices only by like $3 or something on the spaghetti in all those years. I mean, have you, with still like really big portions, have you gotten more and more into measuring, food portions and food costs and things like that? Or are you more focused on just trying to provide a great meal, great experience, and let word of mouth?
Well, to be honest, I don't really have a chef. Yeah. So that's one of the ways that I keep my costs down is by not, having a chef salary and having just, a couple guys that really do know what we do well.
Okay.
So I create all the menu items. I try to do the pricing as best that I can, but I am not an expert, and I have difficulty doing that. So, I always, every time I change the menu, which is twice a year, I always say, I'm going to, really get, price out every single item and make sure that everything is, the right price. But the way that I price things is how are people going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Are people going to be able to afford to eat it? Am I going to lose any customers? Those are my main concerns is, is the business going to be able to survive if I raise the price this much? So that's kind of how I work on my pricing. It's a little unconventional, I suppose, but I don't have any training in that. So I just try my best.
Well, but you have your finger on the pulse of what your customers want, and I mean that's more important than anything, I think, versus getting out spreadsheets and you know analyzing or overanalyzing data and things that are on paper
Yeah.
that can tend to be the case a lot of times with a lot of businesses. So I think that's awesome. Now you moved a few years ago. Is that because you just too much business for the space you're in?
Well, I loved the space, but the building was really old, and the building was falling apart, and the owner of the building was selling, and it actually has sold since we moved, so I'm glad that I was able to do that. You know, I did have to take out a hefty loan in order to move, so that's been stressful, but, you know, the most important thing is that the restaurant keeps standing. I have 18 employees, so I have to, you know, think of them, you know, and just try to keep surviving is the main goal. Securing the lease. In the old building, I did not have a lease either, so it was kind of a month-to-month handshake situation.
Really? All those years?
Yeah. So it was very stressful, and, you know, my landlord would raise my rent, you know, whenever he felt like I was succeeding.
Oh, my gosh.
It was really stressful. So I just decided to, you know, I'll take the plunge and take a big loan out and move. And, you know, so now, I mean, that's San Francisco. The leases are small. So I have another 10 years. We'll see if I can make it. That's kind of how it works.
Are you okay? So I know you said like the first few years were there like every day. I mean, what does a week look like for you now? I know you said you live like an hour away. How often are you there? And when you're not there, talk to me about you know how you've been able to trust folks to do things the way that that you would do them.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. You know, I'm really active in my son's school life. And my husband has a regular 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job. So, you know, I really do like to be at home during the night. So it's a real struggle. It really is, just to make sure that everything is running how it should be. But the way that I deal with it is to not take everything so seriously and just kind of, you know, realize that, hey, it is what it is. I can't be there. I'm choosing to, you know, be a mom and be present in my son's life, and I don't have any managers in the restaurant, but I just kind of, when I do hire people, I let them know, you are the manager. Everyone here, you are all responsible for customer service, for checking on the food, for all of the above. So it's a lot of pressure that I put on them, but they, in turn, you know, they love working there because they don't have somebody breathing down their neck all the time, you know, and then they know that I trust them. And you also have to just kind of understand that, you know, they're going to eat, they're going to drink, and I allow them to do that. So it's just part of the cost of doing business. The way I do it is just to allow them to kind of run the show so that I can run my show at home. You know,
that's really cool. Well, I mean, I mean, that's freaking awesome because you're giving them what a lot of people want, which is autonomy and trust, and you know, they have to be accountable for it. But I'm sure that the ones that understand how valuable that is probably cherish that and want to always continue to earn it.
They do, you know, and they care about their tips, most importantly, right? So, you know, we have like a group text where we're texting every day about things that happened. We use your, you know, Schedulefly app that really, you know, I do scheduling. I send messages through there to everybody, you know, so they can trade their shifts, so I don't have to worry. You know, I put somebody on call, and if someone's sick, I don't even know. You know, they call the person who's on call.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So
awesome.
You know, it's tough just because I can't be there. Like my son plays lacrosse on Friday nights. He has a game, so that's where I'm going to be. And the nights that I can go in, I do go in, and I take over the reservations or whatever. And the person who's working is lacking, and I, make sure that they know how I want things done. But I'm there, maybe twice a week at night, and I'm planning on opening for lunch, and I'll probably be there like 4 days a week for a while during the day.
Oh, that's something new, is opening for lunch?
Yeah, I'm planning to do like a counter service lunch. So, the customer can come in and, make their own order and wait for their food and take it with them, or sit there with their kind of compostable ware. I think that's kind of the future of restaurants, at least in order to not have so many employees. That's kind of what a lot of people in San Francisco are doing now.
Boy, the San Francisco restaurant scene since you've opened has just blown up, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just, and the thing is I'm a single person. I am married, but I'm the single owner of my restaurant. And a lot of restaurants in San Francisco are run by restaurant groups.
Mm.
So they're not chains or they're not franchises, but a restaurant will have the support of their 5 other restaurants.
Right.
And they can afford to run a social media campaign where all of their restaurants, get advertising, and they do that kind of thing where, it's not the same as a mom and pop shop. So it's been really tough because, yeah, they can have a slow month and still survive, or go out of business, and it doesn't really matter because they can put their employees in another restaurant, or they can, write that off. But for small places, like mine, it's like, okay, when you're done, you're done. So you have to just be really careful about every little thing.
Do you do a lot of social media and advertising, or is it more, regular customers and repeat business and word of mouth?
I don't pay for any advertising but I do all my own social media. So, I do Instagram, Facebook, and, they all kind of connect to Twitter, so I don't even check that, but the things that I'm posting are going there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what people are doing. But, yeah, so in order to get any write-ups in San Francisco, you have to really work hard to make sure that people know that you're there, because people downtown, they don't come to the mission, right? So all of these companies and all of the bloggers and things, they are, downtown. It's kind of the same thing that happened when I opened. It's like they're not giving attention to small places unless you're, like, really active in getting that attention.
Gotcha. You have to really work hard to get their attention. Do you,
Yeah.
I mean, but with so many places being, parts of larger groups and things like that, is there, does that make you, in some circles, a more attractive option that, folks that are looking for something that's, single owner, single location, more family-oriented type place?
Yeah, I don't really know. I think that in San Francisco, people just want to try everything, right? Or they want to try the cool thing, or they see something, and it's very social media driven, where it's like, oh yeah, they'll tag their friends. But I think it is a lot of word of mouth. But I've still met people who have been in San Francisco for 10 years that have never heard of us and can't believe that they've never been there.
Oh my gosh.
But it's because I'm not advertising in the papers. I'm not advertising, in order to have somebody getting those write-ups, you have to pay somebody, $1,200 a month to keep sending those things out. So I've thought about doing that, that'd be great, but it's just, I can't. It's not worth it financially, so I can't afford that. I just do it myself, and that's kind of what we always did, So.
You got to sell a lot of extra meals to pay for $15,000 a year in PR bills.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, oh, it's so worth it. It's like, well, maybe to you because you're making that money.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't ask the hairdresser if you need a haircut. I'm with you. I think you have so many really good natural business instincts, Emmy, and it's a testament to that. You've had a successful restaurant in San Francisco for 17 years. you're running it yourself, it's really impressive, especially the fact that you're able to do that, and rely on folks that obviously respect you and trust you, but that know they have your trust and want to work hard and do a good job for you. So it's an inspiring story. I mean,
Thank
really
you.
just excited. This kind of stuff just makes my day. I mean, you're exactly who we built this business to serve. People like you.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I needed. It was perfect. Like, I've been using it since you guys pretty much started, right?
Yeah, you've been a long-time customer, and we really appreciate it. And this is why we're here, is to serve people that own independent restaurants and that are have cool stories and doing just inspiring work, and you fit all that. So, well, I got to tell you, I appreciate the time, and I tip my hat to what you've accomplished, and wish you to just continue to do well. And the world needs more folks like you and places like yours, in my opinion, everywhere.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think so too. It's just really hard. Like, it's almost impossible. Every day it's like, oh, this is really impossible. But it's just, that's how it goes. You got to just keep trying, I guess.
Well, look, I know there's all these food trends that come and go, but spaghetti's been around for forever, and it will be. So it's probably a nice, comforting feeling for a lot of your customers to know that you've been there and you'll be there, and consistent good food and good service all these years. You're building a lot of equity with a lot of folks, I'm sure, around San Francisco.
Yeah, that's what I'm counting on. That's what I'm definitely counting on, for sure.
Well, you've made it a lot longer than a lot of other people, that's for sure. So I tip my hat, and I thank you so much for the time, and I also admire very much your having your life priorities in check, and spending so much time raising your son and focusing on that, and man, I just that's something that is just a wonderful thing to hear. Very admirable, and a lot of folks realize too late in life that they wish they had done that. So you got a lot of wisdom to. Yeah, for sure.
I don't regret it for a minute.
Well, listen, have a good rest of your day. We're always around if you ever need anything. I really, really appreciate it very, very much, and please tell your team the same, that we're stoked to serve y'all, and just appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. It was nice to talk to you.
You too, Emmy. Have a good one. Take care.
Okay. You too. Bye.
All right. Bye.